So, okay, well.
So what? So what happened? Did y'all have a big
76? Oh,
No.
is your knee in the way? No.
No, her knee's fine.
Right, okay. Who's in the view? Me or
The two of you are in the view right now. You can move any place though.
Oh, I'll yield to you because we came in late. I mean, I came in late. I came in by myself with you. What time was that? Like noon. I was in the room when 12 something. I got into the room.
For 5 minutes, tell me your expectations when you came.
I thought most
This is
interesting
Ben
moment
Mazel
was
from the Yippies
Friday,
and the Harvest Festival in Madison.
Friday afternoon session. Actually, this is
A Republican candidate for president in Wisconsin.
For governor.
For governor, pardon me, for governor in Wisconsin in 1989, 90. The candidate with, nothing to hide, a totally exposed candidate. And he got 6% of the vote in a Republican primary against standing governor. Now, that's not funny. That's real, Jack.
Well,
My friend Ben Mazel.
Now that we did that.
for me, most interesting moment with the Drug Policy Foundation was a bit of historical research question I've been wondering about for 19 and a half years now. Was why then candidate George McGovern never used the most damaging available material against Richard Nixon.
Right.
The CIA Southeast Asian heroin link. I thought way back when that a series of commercials showing Nixon, heroin being loaded in a plane, an American junkie around that triangle would very, very possibly win the election and certainly make sure we didn't have any repetition of that sort of behavior.
You felt that way at that time?
I felt that way at that time.
Remember, this guy rode into Woodstock on a bicycle at 16.
This week is the 20th anniversary of the publication of Alfred McCoy's Politics of Heroin in Southeast Asia.
Taping.
Oh, that's all right. Just walk over there. It doesn't make any difference. He's going to say it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You live here. Okay.
The seminal work documenting that complicity. It was available to us since it's exactly 20 years ago and plenty of time for use in the 72 campaign. I know that McGovern had personally been handed a copy the night he won the nomination. So, after 20 years of waiting, I asked why he hadn't used this material.
Yeah.
And, I guess I threw a higher, harder pitch than I knew.
He stood right up and walked right over to answer it. He wasn't waiting.
Well, he didn't really answer. Well, he did say that he considered it just rumor, that they hadn't seen proof, but it sure looked like proof to me.
Yeah.
He sort of like foul-tipped it.
Well, he sort of said, you know, this hasn't got anything to do with anything right now. Let's deal with what we're dealing with now.
But it does, because we're going to see another Democratic campaign that's not going to use the really damaging stuff and let Bush win again.
Well,
for at least the third time on that scenario.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Right. The material was there for the last presidential campaign. You didn't see Dukakis making, you know,
Dukakis didn't. Come on.
Bush Noriega commercial.
This is not Dukakis, and this is beating Bush, and Bush is going to get beaten. Don't even talk about him winning anymore.
Harris Wolf
you got to
jump in the pool of 40 points. All the candidates for Democratic nomination came
We're from a winning team. We're from a winning team.
And part of the difference, of course, is they went and attacked the Republicans for their corruption instead of just.
This is a different
because
scenario.
there's a lot of Americans out there that are tired of forfeiture seizures. They're tired of even drunk driving laws. They're going back to the old prohibition days of this real jury nullification.
We'll come right back to it. What were your expectations when you came here as to what this
Be careful bouncing around.
meeting would accomplish?
Well, I didn't have a lot of particular expectations in terms of the DPF except for learning a lot.
You didn't? Just learning a lot.
How many
education.
did you come to now?
Of DPFs?
Yeah.
It's like 3.
Okay, so your expectations were met. You did learn things. All right.
Like what?
You learned that George McGovern still wasn't going to answer the question. Which I could have told you before you asked.
I did learn a lot from, in the same session, McCloskey's former congressman talk, he kind of got to what it is that affects an actual individual congressional person's vote. What the psychology of the Hill is, that things don't happen because they're right or wrong. It's you don't do anything that's going to cost you votes if you can avoid it. And that if you ever do vote something, you always have to vote one way. You always say, well, I really wanted to vote the other way, but he emphasized that before we get anywhere knocking on doors on the Hill, we had to generate a lot of heat out of people's home districts before it became meaningful, at least have the capacity to do so. Something that 3 years ago as a movement we definitely didn't do. And I think these tours we've done have generated the nucleus for an ability to generate a stack of mail in a given week. The next step is being able to communicate fast enough to do that before the bill's already passed.
Yeah.
Making development of means of communication, these very quick means of communication, real important. And I think that's really why not just one node within a state to pick up news, but even within states, we really ought to be developing some upgraded electronic networking capacities.
Computers.
Right now,
Well,
that is the best way to do it.
This is why Pennsylvania is going to. I told you guys when we first started out that if we won this election, the whole country's going to be watching how we organize, and then we're just going to amaze. We're just going to
remember when we had to tell the kids, don't talk to that, he's going to lose, and we have to talk to Thornburg later, we're going to talk to his win.
Well, that's where
that woman is absolutely right when she came in here and she says we got to watch our words. She says that you got to watch your words. We were absolutely insistent, Ben. We were absolutely insistent on saying we weren't going to get involved in the whether or not whether or not Wofford was going to win or not, or whether it was Wofford or Wolford or whatever that anybody wanted to say. We were just saying vote Democrat November 5th because you can't afford to have Thornburg. And we called him Thornbush from the get-go, and we got him. And now the media is calling him Thornbush.
So what did you get when you came here?
What did I want?
Yeah.
I got it in the last 5 minutes today. I got to talk before normal. DPF will come my day. My day before DPF. I came in like a snake in DPF today, this week. There's none in the column under user input, boom. And it says Michael Moran, marijuana activist. Holy smokes.
What I want to see out of the
marijuana activist now. He's shooting, hitting. What'd you say?
What I was almost hoping to see out of the weekend was our development from being several organizations that were more interested in one-upping each other and to being a seamless movement. I see that coming along.
What is it? I don't see how.
A seamless movement.
Right. That is, that instead of worrying about lines between which organizations the money went into,
we zippered ourselves together. Enough of us have won at what we do this year, 1991, that we've zippered ourselves in a seamless. I like that.
Are you going to go to the lot house?
But of course,
yeah, we got to go and raise Breeze's bail.
Let's get it done.
8:30, man.
Okay, well, I've got to figure out what happened to somebody that was doing some stuff here. You know,
yeah, man, the door. Do something, Nancy.
So you
Dr. Nancy,
you see that as happening.
Not enough time listening to other people. What the hell is nothing I can learn? I got to go sell him.
Yeah.
Are you sure he didn't go on the march?
I'm sure he didn't either.
So go ahead. Ben was saying something.
He was.
I finished.
He was finished. He was done. It's your turn, man.
All right. Somebody get the door, please, and the towel.
It's your turn. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, but not in this format.
Oh, not in this format. Okay, good.
Come on, get in or out.
I don't like being in a